Hi guys, and welcome to the Bolton Wanderers vs Sunderland match preview. So Sunderland do go away from home to the University of Bolton Stadium tomorrow, 3 o'clock kickoff in what could be a really interesting game, because for me I think Bolton, they have some good players, they have a good side, of course it's a massive club. I know that they've probably fell away a little bit or haven't done as well as or at least the fans would have liked. You know, I've got a couple of mates who are Bolton fans and Bolton fans in general who I speak to across social media. They definitely expected a lot better so far this season, or at least at this point in the season. You know, after a very decent transfer window, I expected them to be sort of on the peripheral of the playoffs. I know it's really tight and they're currently in 15th and, you know, only 3-4 wins. It could very easily see them into those playoff spaces. But they did go through a really bad patch. I think it was from sort of like the end of November all the way up until sort of mid-January, where they were on a winless run, you know, which is pretty mad for them. So yeah, from the 27th of November, you know, they drew 2-2 with Cheltenham. Then they did beat Fleetwood in the Football League Trophy, but then they played Fleetwood again in the league away from home, losing by 3-0. Then they got beat by Aki away from home 1-0. They went away from home again, Rotherham this time, which isn't an easy task, but they did lose by 2-1. Then back into the Football League Trophy, they lost 1-0 away from home against Hartlepool, but then they got back on home soil and they still lost by 2-0 against Wycombe. But over the last couple of games, they've started to pick it up a little bit again. They got themselves a nice 2-0 win at home against Ipswich, which is a really good win there. Ipswich, we know, are a really decent side. And last time out away from home, back on the away days, they did beat Shrewsbury by 1-0. So as you can see, you know, they seem to have turned the tide somewhat over the last couple of games, but before that, they went through a really torrid run. But we'll have to see what Bolton do turn up. For me, it depends what Sunderland turns up as well, of course. You know, against Portsmouth, it wasn't a pretty performance. It wasn't a pretty viewing in general. A really dodgy sort of 15-20 minutes where we just couldn't get a hold of the ball. Portsmouth, miles the better side, but they just weren't creating any chances. And that's largely thanks to the new lad, Danny Bart. It is Bart, by the way. It's not Bath. It's definitely Bart. But Danny Bart at the back, he wasn't laying anything past him. He was an absolute brick shithouse. I use that term all the time, brick shithouse. But he is the absolute definition of the phrase, because he really was just everything they tried to put over the top. He was beating everyone in the air, tackles, everything. He was organising that back three as well. For me, Flanagan on that right hand side, he's had a really decent season. He has a really good season up until the last handful of games. Where, you know, and now I think that, you know, he had this big responsibility of being sat next to Doyle, and I think he thrived off that for large parts. But now, even against Pompey, he looked so, I don't know what it was. It was so sort of almost unprofessional at times. It just seemed like he couldn't really be arsed, like he's throwing his toys out the pram a little bit. You know, he was just kind of swiping up players a couple of times, and almost because of that responsibility was taken away from him, because Bart was controlling that back three with Doyle on the left and Flanagan on the right, and Bart was doing a brilliant job of it, but he was just kind of lashing out a little bit. He seemed very sort of blasé when he was on the ball, Flanagan, and he's not usually like that. He was giving away the ball at really stupid times. It was almost like the Flanagan of old. You know, I felt like as soon as that responsibility was kind of taken away, or at least eased a little bit, because Bart's in there, he just seemed like he went rogue, and he, regardless of the performance or the result, should I say, I think, he put in quite a poor performance for me, Tom Flanagan. But Doyle Yoke thrived next to Bart as well. If Flanagan just gets on board and does the same, you know, we should have one of the best defences in the league. But for me, you know, if Bailey Wright, you know, I've listened to pre-match presser, and Lee Johnson does say that it's probably a bit too soon for Bailey Wright to come back. But if it was my choice, I would have Bailey Wright there. You know, in the back three, I think Bailey Wright is very good on the right of a back three. I think, and that is what I have gone with in my preferred starting 11. Remember, it is preferred, not predicted. I don't really expect Bailey Wright to start, but if he is available, I will go for him. But yeah, I think on Bolton's pitch as well, Bolton generally have a really good pitch. I haven't actually seen it recently. I have to have a look, so I could be speaking completely out of turn here. But our pitch, last time out against Pompey, it was horrendous. A lot was made of it. It was shocking. It was Sunday League, bobbly, dry, cut up to pieces. You couldn't play the football that we like to play. And in this system with three at the back and the wing backs, you need to have a half decent service at least, or give yourself at least half a chance to be able to play football. On that pitch, you couldn't. That's why I think against Bolton, where they generally have a much better pitch, or at least a really high standard pitch, you would think anyway, it will play to our advantage, because when we do get the ball down, we play some of the best football in this league. And obviously that doesn't always win you games. We know this. Sometimes we've played, you know, teams off the park and we look really nice and slick. You know, movement off the ball, quick 1-2s, really nice passing play, and we end up losing the game or drawing when we shouldn't be. But so again, it doesn't mean everything, but it will play to our advantage on a nice slick pitch. So yeah, with that 3 at the back system, wing backs, I am relatively confident. We do have some new lads coming in as well. Of course, Lee Johnson did say that Patrick Roberts may come off the bench. I'm not too sure whether Clark is available. I'm not entirely sure, the new lad. But Patrick Roberts apparently has looked really good in training, quick feet. He said Clark has looked good in training as well. It's basically really, really difficult to dispossess. That's very, very true with Clark from what we've seen of him. So this will be my preferred starting 11. So as mentioned earlier, I have gone with Bailey Wright on the right of that back 3. I know it's not going to happen. It's going to be Tom Flanagan every day of the week. But I put Hoffman in goal. And on the topic of goalkeepers, Lee Burge has had a bit of an issue with his heart as of recently. So all the best to him. I hope he does get well very, very soon. But I have gone with Hoffman in goal. We have Doyle, Bart and Wright across the back 3. Now as the wing backs, I've gone with Sirkin on the left, Gooch on the right. You know, easily what I could do is put Winchester on the right there and then stick Evans instead of Winchester. But as you guys know, I just think Dhannoo and Winchester are 100% the best central midfield duo that we do have at the club, particularly away from home. Because Bolton, they are not going to let us, or at least you wouldn't think, Bolton are not going to let us just sit back and maintain possession. If that is the case, if we're just allowed to maintain possession, that's where Evans is very good. Because he's decent, his ball retention, his ball distribution is generally okay. Whereas Winchester, he does the dirty work a lot better. And that's not to say that, Winchester doesn't have good ball retention, because it's absolutely fantastic. And he can't pick out a pass because he can. It's fantastic as well. But I do understand why people like Evans in a game where we're going to dominate possession, and I don't think that will be the case away from home against Bolton. So I think Winchester, Dhannoo, 2 gritty players in there as well, but equally enough quality to take us forward. I think that would be the decent or the best attacking duo, midfield duo in the middle there. But up top, I've gone with Embleton. Of course, he scored in the last game. I'm not taking him away. He was very, very good. Jacques as well. He's doing okay in bits and pieces. I feel like he's relatively inconsistent, but he's looking more and more confident as games go on. Of course, Ross Dewey, who else are you going to put there? We don't have anyone else other than Haydn O'Brien, but even if there was anyone else, I can't say anyone else, but, kicking him off that pedestal that is on right now. Of course, we speak about Jermaine Defoe, but if Jermaine Defoe was to come, we definitely have to work a system where both of them could come in. But yeah, so that would be my starting 11. Now, of course, you guys let me know in the comments down below what your starting 11 would be. Would you start Patrick Roberts or Clark if they were available? What would you do in terms of the back 3? What system would you use? Would you go with the back 3? But that is what I would generally go with if all those were available. I think there's a chance that Pritchard could be back as well, which just means we have such a plethora of options. It's unreal. But now to my score predictions. I am going to this game, which I'm going to get onto in a very short while, but I am going to this game, so I'd like to think we're going to win. And I do think we are going to win. I think it will be a bit of a scrappy affair because, like I said, I don't think they're going to allow us possession. I think it'll be a very physical affair. I think that if we get an early goal, then we will steamroll them. But I don't think we will get that early goal. I think it will be a really tight cage affair. And I am going to go for a Sunderland 1-0 win, which would be absolutely fantastic. Even if it was a minging performance or whatever, and we get away with a 1-0 win, you take it. It's 3 points. We need to keep winning at this rate with the competition we've got surrounding us at the moment. I'm going to go with a 1-0 win, and I'm going to go with another Embleton goal. I'm going to go for another one. I do love our Embo. I do love him, so I'll give him that. 1-0 Sunderland away from home against Bolton. Embleton with the goal. So yeah, that will be my preview for the game. Of course, everything that we've mentioned, you guys let me know in the comments what you think is going to happen, score predictions, goal scorers, etc., and your team selection. But yeah, I am going to be going to the game tomorrow, and this is what I was going to get onto. I'm not entirely sure whether I will be able to do a review for the game. I know I've been lacking on match reviews recently, but it's simply just how it falls onto my work schedule. I can make it to the game, and but then later on in the evening, I have plans as soon as I get back from Bolton. I have plans in Blackpool, and then the next day I'm working. So I don't really see where I'll be able to fit a match review. I do apologise. I'm trying to keep up as much content as I can for everyone who likes different things on the channel. But yeah, in terms of a review for this game, I'm not sure whether you're going to get one. But either way, if you have enjoyed this match preview to the game, please absolutely smash that like button for me. It's always massively, massively appreciated. It really, really is. And subscribe if you're new to the channel to become a fully fledged member of the Sarny Army. But for now, you take care. Stay jammed.